Hello, this is Ollie's Movie Madness, and I'm going to be doing a movie review of Green Lantern 2011. This movie is garbage, not gonna hold back on saying that because this movie is terrible. And the storyline, I don't have to explain much about it, it's just the origin story of Hal Jordan and how he became Green Lantern. And he had to take down this evil villain called Parallax. And that's it. That is the premise of this movie, and it's really dumb. Now, on paper, I think this plot could have worked if you had a better actor. And speaking of that, let's just dive into the performances, which most of the performances are bad. Well, some of them are surprisingly not that bad. Ryan Reynolds is the worst performance in the film. Look, he's a great actor, but in this movie, he plays Green Lantern, aka Hal Jordan, and I can't really call it a character performance. It's just Ryan Reynolds being himself. That is it. That's his performance, and I could tell he did not have fun making this movie. He even said that he hated this film. He said, I couldn't even finish the movie, which, that's surprising. When your main actor rips on this movie, that is, really interesting. But Green Lantern as a character, he doesn't really go through a character arc. He's very bland, very boring. He doesn't really do anything, he just cracks jokes, and Green Lantern is supposed to be a serious character. Surprisingly, there were a lot of actors eyeing up the role of Green Lantern, like, Justin Timberlake, Chris Pine, Bruce Campbell, Sam Worthington, Jared Leto, Bradley Cooper, Ryan Gosling, Channing Tatum, Jake Gyllenhaal, Coleman, Tom Cruise, Ryan Reynolds, which unfortunately he got the part, which is actually surprising. Leslie Owen Jr., Armie Hammer, Jason Ackles, Matt Lantern, Glenn Powell, Travin Rahas, James Marsden, Mahershala Ali, John Krasinski, Ricky White, Eddie Murphy, Henry Cavill, John Hamm, Josh Brolin, Ewan McGregor, Matthew McConaughey, Nathan Fillion, and Jack Black were all considered for Green Lantern. Jake Gyllenhaal, I'm kissing. Eddie Murphy and Jack Black, no. I can never see those actors as Green Lantern. Because it's bad enough to have one comedic actor as your main character, but having it be another one is just worse. Fun fact, Nathan Fillion will play Green Lantern in the new DCU as Guy Gardner, so that's really interesting. Blake Lively as Carol. She doesn't really do anything, so moving on. Jeffrey Rush and Michael Clark Duncan are really good in this movie. They're the only good things in the film. They do the best with their material, Both Captain Barbossa and Kingpin, they do the best they can with their performances because they're played by the same actors. The train montage with them are some of the better moments of this movie. But that's not saying much. Just because two actors give it their all. Well, there are two more actors that are decent in this film. Well, one of them is really bad and over the top but funny. Both Jeffrey Rush and Michael Clark Duncan are fine. The CGI on them is okay. Moving on. Pierre Skarsgård probably gives the most laughable performance in the film. He plays Dr. Hector Hammond. It's so laughably stupid, or Dr. Hector Ballsack, because it looks like Pierre Skarsgård has a dick on his head. It looks like he has a little nutsack growing from his head. But the character of Hector Hammond is bland, so they got that right from the comics. But Pierre Skarsgård, he's just screaming at the top of his lungs, going over the top as possible, just hamming it up the entire time, not taking the film seriously. To be honest, it felt like he knew what kind of movie he was in. Because this movie is really over the top and stupid, so Pierre Skarsgård's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go over the top and be silly. Fun fact, there were a couple actors eyeing up the role, like Keanu Reeves, Joaquin Phoenix, John C. Reilly, Shia LaBeouf, Paul Dano, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Ryan Reynolds, Sam Rockwell, James Franco, and Paul Rudd. Out of those actors, I think Paul Rudd would have been funny as Dr. Hector Hammond. It would have been really funny over the top just having Ant-Man have a little ball sack on the head. It would have been really funny and really ridiculous, but really entertaining. Paul Dano would have been interesting. Ryan Reynolds would have been better as Dr. Hector Hammond, and then you had Jake Gyllenhaal as Green Lantern. That would have made the film more balanced in tone. It would have been still a terrible movie, but Ryan Reynolds would have been funny as Dr. Hector Hammond. Mark Strong is the best thing in this movie. He plays Sinestro, but it's kind of frustrating. I'm sorry to say it's frustrating because, yes, he gives a glorious performance at the character, but it should have been a better Green Lantern film because the character of Sinestro, they got completely right. They just didn't make him the main villain, which is the biggest problem of this movie. They didn't make him the main villain. Now, the scene where he's turning evil, that was a really awesome scene, and his suit is the least terrible thing in the movie. But having said that, Mark Strong is tremendous, and Peter Skarsgård is silly, and Michael Clarke Duncan and Jeffrey Rush are decent in this film. They're not enough to full on save this film, but sadly, I will say that Mark Strong gives the best performance in the entire film. He's the big standout of the entire movie. Fun fact, actors like Hugh Laurie, Daniel Day-Lewis, Samuel L. Jackson, Jack Earl Haley, Ethan Hawke, Liam Neeson, Gerard Butler, Paul Dano, and Tim Roth were all considered for Sinestro. I think Samuel L. Jackson would have been good. He would have been really awesome as Sinestro. And a better Green Lantern movie, of course, with a better script and better dialogue. Jack Earl Haley would have been way too scary, unfortunately. He's more of a scarecrow type of actor. He's an actor that can play really scary villains. Gerard Butler would have been weird. Paul Dano would have been okay. It would have been decent. So that's interesting. Sadly, the most wasted actor is Clancy Brown, who does nothing in this movie. I always forget that he's even in this stupid movie to begin with. Lex Luthor. You'll think having a movie with Lex Luthor would be fun. Sadly, it's not. He plays Parallax, and his performance is nothing. He's only in the third act. He doesn't do anything. He's boring as hell, which I get that is accurate to the comics. Yeah, but he's just such a bland antagonist. He doesn't do anything. He's just Galactus from Fantastic Four, Rise of the Silver Surfer, if Galactus actually talks. He doesn't do anything. The CGI for him is terrible. Fun fact, and this is going to be really surprising. You'll never guess what actors were considered. And I am not kidding here. Here's the actor that they wanted to play a nothing villain. Mark Hamill, the Joker himself, Tom Hiddleston, a.k.a. Loki, Liam Neeson, Morgan Freeman, Vin Diesel, Ben Kingsley, and James Earl Jones. None of these actors would have been good. You know, the Joker would have been boring. Not even the legendary Liam Neeson would be good. I'm sorry to say. Liam Neeson would have sucked in this movie. Because, A, Liam Neeson would not have screen time, and 2, it would have been really weird and really dull. Now, these actors can act, but not as Parallax. So, in conclusion, this movie is terrible. Despite having some immediately fun performances, the acting is still bad, the CGI is atrocious, the Green Lantern suit looks really bad. The CGI is not all bad, just the Green Lantern suit looks like garbage. Taika Waititi is completely annoying and really boring in this film. I say just skip it, go watch the Ant-Man movies, go watch all the Deadpool movies. The only thing I liked is that the Deadpool movies made fun of this film. Even Ryan Reynolds hated it. So I give this movie a 2 out of 10. Really bad and really uninteresting and really boring. So that is my review of Green Lantern 2011. Hope you guys enjoyed.